Always wanted a red cape on my back. I always wanted to be the best in my pack. I always wanted to be known to be good, to be the hero of my own hood. If I could just fly, I could save everyone. Stop all the wars so nobody's gotta run. All the killing, all the crimes, pain and suffering. It's getting tougher to be buffered from it all. Are we gonna make it through? Is he gonna fly back in? Cause if he don't come right now, I don't think good will win. Time is running now. Do we wanna wait for him? Or is it our time now to bring the good back in? We don't have to leap tall buildings. There's a lot of good that we can do. We don't need a jetpack suit. It's up to me and you. Right here, right now. Superhero. Na 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 na. Superhero. Whoa, 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 whoa. Superhero. Na 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 na. Superhero. There's so much pain, and though I can't fly, I can do my little part here before I die, yeah. I may not win the Nobel Prize, but at least I can try to be a little more kind, spend a little more time in my changing life, yeah. Like giving a hug when somebody is down, feeding a soul when there's nobody around. Small things that can change the sound and the vibe of the spirit that can change a town. Started small, now it's touched the crowd. The crowd is growing, now the word is out that if we all do our parts, we can touch the clouds. Without a cape and a mask, we can touch the clouds. Yeah. We don't have to leap tall buildings. There's a lot of good that we can do. We don't need a jetpack suit. It's up to me and you. Right here, right now. Superhero. Na 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 na. Superhero. Whoa, 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 whoa. Superhero. Na 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 na. Superhero. Whoa. It's the smallest things that make a difference. And all the power's locked within us. All we gotta do is find the key and turn the latch and set it free, yeah. We don't need to be fast and strong, cause a kind word can go a long way. Help someone whose faith is gone to get back up and carry on. Maybe it's too hard to understand, think it's too much for us to handle, but I promise you that you can, cause you don't need to be a Superman. We don't have to leap tall buildings in a single bound. There's a lot of good that we can do. Standing on the ground. We don't need a jetpack suit to take us to the clouds. It's up to me and you. Right here, right now. Superhero. Feeding the soul when there's nobody around it. Superhero. And the vibe of the spirit that can change a town. Superhero. Now the word is out that if we all do our parts, we can touch the clouds. Without a cape and a mask, we can touch the clouds. Yeah.
Good morning. Welcome to Unity of Melbourne. I'd like to invite our Minister of Record, Reverend Therese Lee, to open us in prayer as I light our Christ candle.
As you get centered in your seat, centered in your heart space as you sit in your seat, close your outer eyes as you're comfortable, please. Living, loving presence, thank you for this day. Thank you for the sunshine that reminds us that we are, each of us here, individually the light of the world. And I invite us all to open our minds and our hearts to the goodness that we call here in Unity God. We open our awareness, each of us, to the joy that is the kingdom within each of us, right here and right now. And we breathe into knowing that the full impact of our awareness of God's presence always and in always surrounding us is the gift. We become aware that this gift is always and in always available to us. Whether we're in this building, on the beach, riding a bike, walking a dog, always and in always. And in this moment, each of us embraces our innate potential, acknowledging the possibilitarian that each of us is. We open our minds, our hearts, our ears to be changed possibly by what we might hear in spoken or sung word today. And so it is. We pray this in the name, after the nature, and under the authority of the living, loving presence that is you and that is me, and so it is. Amen.
Bring it on. Everything new, everything different, everything true. I am ready for my next thing to do. Oh, I know it's gonna be everything new. I'm through crying, I'm through waiting, through hoping against all hope. I'm through longing, something gone, but I'll never return. Think you finally learned to bring it on. Everything new, everything different, everything true. I am ready for my next thing to do. Oh, I know it's gonna be everything new. I'm through grieving, I'm through dreaming that the life I had is ever coming back. No more wishing on someone else's star that'll never be mine. I think it's time to bring it on. Everything new, everything different, everything true. I am ready for the next thing to do. Oh, I know it's gonna be everything new. Bring it on. Everything new, everything different, everything true. I am ready for my next thing to do. Oh, I know it's gonna be everything new. Oh, I know it's gonna be everything new. Oh, I know it's gonna be everything.
Welcome and good morning, Unity of Melbourne. I'm Valerie Holloway. I'm your board chair and serving as your platform assistant this morning. It's an honor and privilege. We welcome everyone. If this is your first time, do we have any first timers? Because we have a gift and Judy is standing ready to give you that gift. Just raise your hand. If you're joining us online, you can also just sign in the chat window because we'd love to talk to you and communicate with you and welcome you. We think Unity of Melbourne's pretty special. Yes, and we think we're special. Well, we know it's special because why, you might ask? Because we love and we accept ourselves and others, and we heal our world. And the way that we do that is by listening and honoring all voices. We live authentically with patience, kindness, and integrity by inspiring and supporting our spiritual evolution through embodying truth principles and connecting and collaborating with local organizations. On our back table is a little card that has these very words that you helped create. You determined why we are who we are and how we live and how we believe. On the back side are the unity principles. So please feel free to take one of these. I have one in my car. I have one in my organizer, just in case I need to be reminded. If you're one of our virtual audiences, just put a little note in the chat box, as we'd be happy to reach out and mail you one. Also on the back of our table is all kinds of goodies today, is the Release and Renew 2022, A Spiritual Practice for Lent. Beautiful, beautiful book. It offers a daily opportunity for you to let go of fears, negativity, doubt, and as you renew your awareness of the good that is all around you. So please take one of these books. It has affirmations, essays, something every day for the every 40 day of Lent and the 7 Sundays of Lent, with specific ways and useful tips for you. For our virtual audience, if you would like to receive one, again, just let us know and we'll be happy to mail you one. We have a new program that's happening on Saturdays, and if you're new to Unity, or if you're just curious, just interested in expanding your understanding of Unity's teachings, you have an opportunity to join 2 very special ladies, Paulette Mason, who's a licensed Unity teacher, and Angela Victor, who's the vice president of our board of trustees. On Saturday mornings from 10 to 11, they host a spirit-led conversation. It's on New Thought and Unity principles, and you can ask any questions. It's very informal and casual, just a chance to really connect with other folks in the community and learn all about it. Paulette and Angela create a very safe space for discussion, and it's very informal. They said, if you don't log on right at 10, don't worry about it. Just come join. It's like stepping in and having coffee with friends on Saturday. In order to get the Zoom link, there's a sign up at the back. And if you're a virtual viewer, Joseph is posting it in the chat box. So that'll get you the link so you can join us on Saturday morning. Unity was founded on prayer. And for over 125 years, Unity's Silent Unity prayer ministry has been doing continuous prayer. Let that sink in. 125 years of continuous prayer. Prayer associates are always available. You can call the number on the screen, and there is a prayer associate who would be there and available to talk with you. Immediately after our service, we have our prayer chaplains in the house that can also pray with you, and we have prayer requests that you can fill out. These are in the back of the sanctuary. We hold these prayers and these requests for 30 days, and then they're passed on to Silent Unity, who continues to pray for your needs. So this is a beautiful program that is available to you. Our children, our youth, our in-person youth program, which is in the building, focuses this week on the great and powerful Oz, where they look to know the importance of never giving up on their power to choose their own responses. I wished I had a chance to have learned that when I was a child. I think it was like 40-something, and it took me a while to figure it out. The virtual lesson for the children who aren't here in the house is Forgiving Others, with emphasis on how forgiving can be easy and hard and why it's important to forgive. So let's take a moment to bless our children here and at home. Rub our hands together. Children, we love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, and we behold the Christ you are. Now it's time for our musicians to perform Anything is Possible.
What's your dream that sometimes seems impossible? The voices fade that tell you it's improbable. Hold on to to what you love. Hold on to what you dream of, and you will be unstoppable. Anything is possible. Anything is possible. Anything is possible. Believe. What's your dream that sometimes seems illogical? When you try and fall, your dream can feel intangible. Chin up, try again, stand up and carry on, and your dream will become visible. Anything is possible
When you believe,
anything is possible.
do you believe?
Anything is possible. Believe. Hey, hey, I believe. Hey, hey, I believe. Hey, hey, I believe that I am unstoppable, because anything is possible.
When you believe,
Anything is possible.
do you believe?
Anything is possible. Believe. Believe. Believe.
One more time, Thomas and Gabriel and the band. That's the message. Thanks for coming. It's simple, guys, girls, ladies, gentlemen, dogs. It is that simple. If you believe, you can achieve. I think I just made up a new thing. I love that about myself. Okay. So we're talking about the book, Divine Audacity, the 12 powers that Charles Fillmore was able to identify. Charles Fillmore, our Unity founder, who was married to a sassy redhead, whose name was Myrtle, and who really, Myrtle was the one that founded Unity based on healing, going within, recognizing the 12 centers in her body when she was diagnosed with tuberculosis. And she was like, I am not dying from that. I'm not doing it. I know my aunt, my grandma, everybody else. And she was so moved by E.B. Weeks. They took a ride from, back in the day, it was a ride, from Kansas City to Chicago. E.B. Weeks was a huge metaphysician at the time. And he said, you are a perfect child of God. You do not inherit disease. Dis-ease, hyphen on purpose. So whatever the doctor tells you your diagnosis is, we remember who is the prognosis? God. That takes then the power away from anybody telling you. Who doesn't like to be bossed around? Right? I don't want someone telling me what it is. So, and that's because I'm a fifth child of 11, so you can imagine I had to have a strong voice. So the powers within us allow us then to take the information we receive and then figure out how does it apply to us. Then what powers within us do I have to call forth so that I can then say, oh, this is how I'm going to deal with what I've heard. Right? So we can respond or react. We get to choose. Is life hard? It can be, right? And does it have to suck? No. I just said that word from the platform. You can, because we give energy to words. as well, right? And I also know, as I can hear my grandmother telling me, you're so bold, Therese Ann, because when you're raised Catholic, you have two names, right? So are you willing to be bold and audacious? The answer has to be yes, and do it on your own time, okay? But this is what the 12 powers allow us to understand. Fundamental, that's the only time you'll ever hear us in Unity use that word, because they are instinctive in us. We inherit them when we're born. They come in as OEM parts of us, not something we have to add on afterwards. 12 powers, 12 lights, 12 freedoms, 12 audacities, 12 faculties of mind, 12 fountainheads, Fillmore used to call them. And imagine as a fountain would have been used to be the picture of all the different sprays that come out. And they're beautiful, aren't they? And each one is different depending upon how the light hits it. So what Linda Martellowitz said, who's the head of all of prayer for us at Unity, although she would never admit it. She's like, I'm just somebody else like y'all. I'm like, no, you're not. You're bigger than all of us, because this is how she lives her life. And she inspires us to say, oh, let me go from my sense consciousness, which is that of all of this, to the transformation of prayer and time apart from the busyness to the higher consciousness that we call the Christ consciousness. Christ was not Jesus' last name. It was his job description. Everybody breathe. You're not hearing that anywhere else on Sunday morning, right? So if that's the job description, what does it mean for us? To get out of our little small s selves, which Maggie talks about here and has, I learned it from her, get rid of all that ego stuff and step into your divinity. The song said, we are unstoppable. Everything is possible. Well, then why isn't it in our lives? Because we think with our small m mind and get ourselves all full up with stuff that doesn't serve us. So we remember the song. I hope you took notes, right? I'm a big note taker. So I wrote down unstoppable and everything is possible. So I write these kinds of things down to remind myself, because sometimes we forget. Right? Life intervenes, and then you're like, ugh, what am I supposed to think? Well, we're unstoppable, and everything is possible. So we move from our intellect into our heart space, physically, the longest 18 or 20 inches in our lives, depending upon your own anatomy. When we can then, and always blend them, it's always a both and, intellect and heart. Today we're going to talk about zeal. The only way, I told the prayer chaplains earlier when we met, that I was able to be ordained, and someone gave me the heads up, thank God. It was Paul Hasselbeck, actually, who teaches metaphysics. He said, Therese, you're never going to make it through the program if you don't tell them that you know, and even if you're just giving it lip service right now, that you have to temper your zeal with wisdom. Because this is me without caffeine. Right? This was me at 9 o'clock when I met with Pat, yeah, because this is me. So how do you know that sometime you're too much? Well, usually it's people's faces like, or something like that. So I'm pretty attuned to all of that all these years later. But I still want my Christ to be contagious. I still want my enthusiasm to be something that you might want more of in your own way, of course, because we all show up uniquely, unrepeatable expressions of God. So far you've covered faith, which is the perception, conviction, and expectancy attributes. You have also covered the light of understanding, comprehension, realization, and insight. And then today we're going to talk about zeal. You also did imagination, right? Right? So conception, vision, and embodiment. The best thing about imagination is worry is the greatest misuse of it. So when we worry, we're imagining and we're making stuff up, and it's the worst application of that. So scripture for today is from Psalm 16, verse 11. In thy presence is the fullness of joy. So turn to your neighbor and say, I am so glad you're here. I'm so glad you're here. Turn to somebody else. Turn around. Say it to yourself. I am so glad I am here. And all of those online, wherever you are, whatever time you're watching us, we get to remember that we are the ones that have the control of our thoughts to then decide how your day is going to be. Don't turn on the news. Don't see what the forecast is. Say, I'm going to have a great day today, and then make it so. I remember learning that as my dad he wasn't a unity person, but he had this because he was a coach, and so he would always tell us that, and I kept thinking, whatever, Dad, whatever. And that wasn't even a word back in my day, right? But can we remember that we're the ones in charge of how it is we either respond or react to whatever is happening? My invitation is always turn off the news and take a walk. See where the miracles are not. Because they're everywhere, always and in always. So the affirmation that I have, I'll say it first in parts and then you'll say it with me, please. Today I affirm my zeal allows for all the amazing blessings now on their way to me. So we'll say it together. Today I affirm my zeal allows for all the amazing blessings now on their way to me. You have to declare it now so that all the stuff gets out of the way and they have room to make their way to you. We say blessings because sometimes it feels like we're in school or life is giving us yet another lesson. But if we can shift the stuff inside of us, careful how you hear that, we can have everything be a blessing. Everything for us, which means we've taken a moment to realize all of that. C.S. Lewis says, joy is the serious business of heaven. Where is heaven? If you forget, open your shirt. Hello, God. Right? And that's what they're teaching the kids back in the youth. Because as close as our breath is where the Spirit of the Holy, which is Holy Spirit, the Spirit of our holiness, lies. We always think it's something outside. As a little girl, I learned about a guy on a cloud that looked kind of like me, except for no freckles, which is like so historically wrong, right? So get back to the truth, and it's not about something outside of us or a face or an image, with no disrespect or irreverence, although I am. It's in us, always and in all ways. Charles Fillmore, at the age of 94, said, I fairly sizzle with zeal and enthusiasm, and I spring forth to do with a mighty faith the things that ought to be done by me. So we know we are doing things. We know we are being things. Faith is always behind that, right? We use zeal also to open the door for the things that is ours to do. Enthusiasm, the word enthu means of God. So I'm not going to tell you, nobody in Unity will tell you what to think. We're going to ask you to think and then rethink what it is that you thought, that you thought, that you thought, that you thought. It makes me slow down, right? So we've heard that it is a journey rather than a destination, right? So make it joyous while you're here. I said last time, buy the flowers today, send the card today, and get those cards and flowers and chocolate for yourself as well. If you wait for someone else, you might starve. Seriously, or they bring you the wrong kind of chocolate. Ew, right? So get the kind you want, celebrate yourself. So there's a story about a guy who was driving home from work one day, and he stopped to see a Little League game, right? So he gets out of the car, and he walks over and sits on the bench at the first baseline. And he leans over and asks one of the little boys, because it was a boys' game. Now there's girls' games too, but back in the day, there was only boys. What's the score? And the little boy says, we are behind 14-0, with great enthusiasm and excitement. And the man said, really? Well, you don't look very discouraged. And the little boy says, why would I be discouraged? We haven't even been up to bat yet. The hope of glory, right? Can you get yourself to be more childlike, not childish, childlike, to see the amazement, to be excited when you see a rainbow or a cardinal or whatever it is? I find dimes and nickels. I'm like, woo! People are like, you would have thought that was $1. I'm like, no, it's a dime. It means a lot to me. What means a lot to you? What will bring joy to your life, in your face, and your actions in the midst of something like the news, right? I don't have a TV on purpose because I don't really want to watch all that anymore, and then I, have news sources to find out, because, that's my job also, to know what's going on. Eric Butterworth, Unity minister in New York, really, wrote the book, Discover the Power Within, and so many others. Was such a great teacher for us, continues to be a great teacher. And he said, as you see it so, is not the right way. Because we see like, oh, there it is, instead of seeing it right. So I pull up to a red light and I'm thinking, I'm seeing this green. I'm seeing it green. When I'm driving in the rain, the 5 hours to get here, because I love you, I'm thinking, I'm seeing sunshine. Now, people in the cars next to me might think, oh, she's a little cuckoo, because she's talking to herself, and it's true. Because I work alone, I have a staff meeting, and it's me, so I talk out loud. Don't ever interrupt, right? So can you see it rightly versus seeing it like, ugh, here we go again. Here we go again. We get to live in the now moment. That's all we have. It's all that's ever promised. So be present to what is happening in these moments, to see the miracles, to understand that the commitment is from within you to be 100% now, to be 100% responsible for your commitment to healing thoughts of negativity. We're in Lent. Let's eliminate negative thinking, L-E-N-T. I didn't make it up, but I own it, right? So, and we renew, and we release, and we fast, and we feast. It depends, and all in honor of the day, which is called Easter in the world of religion, where in Unity we celebrate the consciousness of Christ yet again rising above all of the stuff. The stuff is the Easter story, which is a fabulous story. You want to come the Wednesday of Easter week, that's the day before Maundy Thursday, and 4 days before Easter Sunday, to come to the Taizé service that Maggie and the prayer chaplains and y'all are putting on, because it will help another shift in your life of what it is. The crucifixion, which everybody's like, oh, I don't want to talk about him dying. I don't either. The cross means crossing out error thinking. It had nothing to really do with Jesus per se. It's just the way they killed people back in the day. So you'll see my little cross, my Unity wings somewhere in here, they're the wings, and it's more like a plus sign, right? Because we have always the ability to take ourselves horizontally, as we are right now together, and raise up to our consciousness. You'll never look at a cross the same way again, right? So here we are having our daily, la, 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 la. Oh, wait a minute, time to rise again, time to rise again. That's what we metaphysically interpret that symbology to mean. So our direct energies and ideas within our minds are made realized when we add in our zeal. We add in that component of zeal. And remember, always tempering it with wisdom so that we can see that I think it's Fillmore who says, zeal is the mighty force that incites the winds, the tides, the storms. I mean, imagine. It's a fabulous way to look at a storm that's coming at us. It urges the planet on its course and spurs the ant to greater exertion. Have you ever watched an ant carried like what? You can't even see what it is. It's so minuscule, but he's working really hard, and then all the ants follow behind him because, of course, they want a piece of what he has, right? So zeal is the urge behind all things, the affirmative impulse of existence, the inward fire of the soul. regardless of the intellectual mind, Fillmore says, that always is cautioning us, like, oh, I don't know, that's not how a minister behaves, Therese. I'm all about that. Because someone says to me, you don't really look like a minister. I'm like, you know, I looked up in the dictionary, I didn't see a picture. Right? So quit making stuff up about people and what we're supposed to look like. My greatest compliment, always in South Carolina, because that's where I serve, is, wait a minute, but you're a woman. I'm like, thanks for noticing. Seriously? Out of the mouth of well-educated people in the 21st century? Just saying. Oh, you know, I call them to task. Like, what? People forget that the only way Jesus was really able to do his ministry was because, and there's no slight, we have to have the masculine and feminine balance within us. So he had women and men in his circle of disciples. It was just that some of the females, all of the females, let's be honest, were written out, right? So there's a great thing, maybe Maggie and I will teach it one day here. We have the 12 disciples and we have the 12 women of the chalice. I didn't write it. A woman named, a very audacious woman, Letty Hammock wrote it, because we have to be balanced always and in all ways, heart and head, both and, to go forward into life. So we know that sometimes our energy, my energy, can be frenetic. Then that's not so pretty in the example of zeal. So that's why we use and bring in our wisdom. Somewhere in Scripture, because I didn't quote where it was, God is spirit, we celebrate in spirit and in truth. So what I don't always understand as a loud person, you know, as a middle child, like why you're supposed to be quiet in church. I never understood that. You know, oh, well, it's holy. Well, what's holy? Because all of our ancestors always danced and sang, didn't they? And have festivities and drink wine, and if that's in your purview, or whatever, cider, and celebrate always the community of communion with another. So that's really what they're talking about. Eric Butterworth says, zeal used from the elevated consciousness is the ability to be enthusiastic and passionate, as well as to start to motivate ourselves based on divine ideas, truths, and principles. We use zeal to motivate ourselves to be passionate about being the best Christ consciousness we can be. Christ sometimes offends people, then I'll say love. Use love. God and love are interchangeable. Christ and love are interchangeable. When you get hooked up on a word that's like bugging you, figure out why, unpack it, and use a different word instead. The main thing is consciousness, the awareness of the allness around us going forward. So another affirmation I have is zeal is the ability to be enthusiastic and passionate as I motivate myself. So I'm going to invite up the musicians. We're going to have a song called Return Again, and then Anne Dubois is going to be doing the meditation for you. Comfortable.
Return again, return again, return to the land of your soul. Return again, return again, return to the land of your soul. Return to what you are. Return to who you are. Return to where you are.
Yes, we want to return to the land of our soul, that quiet place within us. And the way we oftentimes do that is we just focus on our breathing, slowing down, taking that life-giving oxygen deeper into your body. And then with a little puff, just expel that. It's used up. There's more to come. So just relax your body so that you can take in all of that renewing oxygen. We find our own pathway to our inner space. Some of us have a practiced path that we follow. Some of us are powerful enough to just think ourselves there. Just be within yourself, knowing that your outer self is safe and beloved, and that God nudges us forward with little sparks of ideas. You may have had that opportunity to just feel a spark of an idea that brings you a sense of joy, enthusiasm. And this is what we call zeal. Something that is within each and every one of us and is different, unique, uniquely ours. You can probably think of an example in your own life where an idea really sparked enthusiasm, where you might have said, "Oh, that's a good idea." That's a God gift, that good idea. When you allow yourself to really take it in to your heart space and it grows in concept. It's like, this feels good. This new idea that I didn't have yesterday. Lets me grow today. I get to choose being enthusiastic. I get to express that in whatever way makes best sense to me. Just the name Zeal has a spark of energy for me, maybe for you as well. Because anything is possible with our zeal and our enthusiasm focused on it. As Reverend Therese mentioned, we raise up. That's our goal, is to raise up into higher understanding, greater ability, growing kindness, whatever calls to us as a good idea, we let that spread out through our whole being. Zeal is energy, energy that's in motion. It's our soul thirsting to express itself. In the quiet, I want you to just bring an image to your mind where you know that you felt the great enthusiasm and zeal of a new idea, a new way to do something. Let your face show a smile in that recognition. Let your body remind you of how happy you felt, the joy overflowing. With that thought, there's probably another one coming. Another time when you felt a part of a bigger whole. And with enthusiasm and opportunity, you stepped up. You allowed that to be a calling for you. One of the earlier metaphysical books that I read as a child, and was read to me, was The Little Engine That Could. Because that showed great zeal. When that little engine said, "I think, I can." We will allow that within ourselves. Just have that same type of enthusiasm. I can get over that big mountain. I think I can. So with that, bring yourselves back into this room. Feel your body enlivened, refreshed, renewed. Open your eyes when you're ready, and we'll have Gabriel entertain us with yet one more beautiful song.
Return again, return again, return to the land of your soul. Return, return again, return again to the land of your soul.
Thank you. Who better than the sassy redhead to talk to us about zeal? We're so glad you're here. Thank you. And a beautiful meditation from my personal prayer chaplain. I know she's your prayer chaplain too, but I claim her. In unity, we acknowledge and we affirm blessings instead of dwelling on lack or limitation. I think we heard a little bit about that this morning. This week, we received a thank you letter from neighbor at Brevard, thanking Unity of Melbourne for a donation we made from last month's tithes. We do that every month. We tithe what we receive to local community organizations. So we just wanted to share that they wrote and thanked us. Neighbor up Brevard is across the street over at the Booker T. Washington subdivision, just over the tracks, and they have a wonderful community development program, and they have a wonderful children's program among their many other services. We also received a letter from the Sharing Center, South Brevard Sharing Center, thanking us for supporting them. They provide a number of services in addition to a food bank. They have case managers who help the homeless population and help people get services that are needed in the community. So know that when you give, you're supporting both our work here that happens every day, this building, all of the things that surround us, but we are also supporting the community. Our donation basket, we don't pass it. It's back in the back of the sanctuary, and we encourage you to leave a gift as you leave the sanctuary. If you're joining us on YouTube or Facebook, there's a link in the chat box, and that's true for all of us. For those of us who donate online or do regular donations, you can do that. You can do the old-fashioned check. That works great too. But we encourage you to help support our mission. We also ask that if you were blessed this week, blessed in any way this week, that you share that with us too, whether filling out a little form in the back or putting that in the chat. We like to know how you were blessed. I was blessed by the wonderful folks that make all this work possible and make my role as president of the board very easy, because I never have to ask for anything twice. In fact, half the time I don't have to ask. It just happens, and that's a beautiful thing. As we think about our gifts and the way that we give back, we want to affirm that our abundance and prosperity exist. And so I hold your gift, whether it's online or in person, and say with me, divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, and all that I circulate. I am grateful. And now I invite you to rise if you're able to join our musicians as they lead us and we sing, I'm so grateful. Symbolic offertory basket.
All right, I took off my microphone, so, all right. So we know as we practice generosity, all that goes out comes back to us, pressed down, shaken together. You can do this. You can do this at home, shaken together, and goes forth to do the will and the work that we call Unity of Melbourne, serving ourselves, serving God, and serving the community. Thank you for your consciousness of generosity, for which you are blessed and you bless us, and so it is. Amen.
Thank you, Reverend Therese. So what do we have next? Well, next week we're going to move on with our powers, and licensed Unity teacher Hank Lewis will be returning to us, and he will be speaking on the principle of power. Reverend Paul Hasselbeck reminds us that the principle of power is the ability to master, dominate, and control our senses, thoughts, feelings, and beliefs. So you don't want to miss next Sunday. I'd like to thank, again, Reverend Therese, who will be available for the Sunday Talk discussion. So you can have more of her. You can have more of her down in the hospitality. And for those of you who haven't joined the Sunday Talk discussion, it's really an opportunity to dig deeper. Sometimes we walk out feeling like, oh, that's a really great message and I need to remember it. But it's also great to connect and get different perspectives. If you are joining us online, Joseph has posted the Zoom link in the chat because you are joining us right there. If Reverend Therese is not enough of a draw to come to hospitality after service, which I think she is, but Rodney's brought bread. Rodney Smith, who keeps us well fed. I'll do low carbs next week, Rodney, because you brought bread today. I'd like to thank Anne Dubois for guiding us in that beautiful meditation. our prayer chaplains, and I see Jane, and I see Chris, and I see Pat. The lights are a little bright, forgive me. And I see Anne. She's already converted from meditation to her chaplain stole. They are all available for you to pray after service. I'd like to thank our musicians. The boys in the band. We had the ladies talking about balance. We had the ladies on this side. We had the gentlemen on that side. We have Fred Goodnight, the infamous Fred, on drums. We have Ron Cobb on bass. And then we have featured on keyboard and vocals Thomas, who's returning to us. And Gabriel on vocals. If he looks for, and ukulele, yes. If he looks familiar, he's the talented offspring of Deborah Thornton. I don't know if you wanted me to share that or not. So, behind the scenes, we have Joseph on video, Kevin on audio, Randy on orchestration, and you here. We have you, and that makes it all part, whether you're with us here or you're with us in person. Thank you so much. Let's close with two very important pieces of our service, both the prayer for protection and we'll be closing with the peace song. So let's start with closing our service today with the prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds me. I am the light. The love of God enfolds me. I am the love. The power of God protects me. I am the power. The presence of God watches over me. I am the presence. Wherever I am, God is, and all is well. Stand if you're able, and we'll close the service with Let There Be Peace.
On earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as our Father. Brothers all are we. Let me walk with my brother in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my solemn vow, to take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
cape on my back. I always wanted to be the best in my pack. I always wanted to be known to be good, to be the hero of my own hood. If I could just fly, I could save everyone. Stop all the wars so nobody's gotta run. All the killing, all the crimes, pain and suffering. It's getting tougher to be buffered from it all. Are we gonna make it through? Is he gonna fly back in? Cause if he don't come right now, I don't think good will win. Time is running out. Do we wanna wait for him? Or is it our time now to bring the good back in? We don't have to leap tall buildings. There's a lot of good that we can do. We don't need a jetpack suit. It's up to me and you, right here, right now. Superhero, na 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 na. The superhero, whoa 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 whoa. Superhero, na 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 na. The superhero, whoa whoa whoa. The world is full of so much pain, and though I can't fly, I can do my little part here before I die, yeah. I may not win the Nobel Prize, but at least I can try to be a little more kind, spend a little more time in my change one life, yeah. Like giving a hug when somebody is down, feeding a soul when there's nobody around. Small things that can change the sound, and the vibe of the spirit that can change a town. Started small, now it's touched the crowd. The crowd is growing, now the word is out that if we all do our parts, we can touch the clouds. Without a cape and a mask, we can touch the clouds. Yeah. We don't have to leap tall buildings. There's a lot of good that we can do. We don't need a jetpack suit. It's up to me and you, right here, right now. Superhero, na 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 na. The superhero, whoa 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 whoa. Superhero, na 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 na. The superhero, whoa whoa whoa. It's the smallest things that make a difference, and all the power's locked within us. All we gotta do is find the key and turn the latch and set it free, yeah. We don't need to be fast and strong, cause a kind word can go a long way. Help someone whose faith is gone to get back up and carry on. Maybe it's too hard to understand, think it's too much for us to handle, but I promise you that you can, cause you don't need to be a Superman. We don't have to leap tall buildings. There's a lot of good that we can do. Standing on the ground. We don't need a jetpack suit to take us to the clouds. It's up to me and you, right here, right now. Superhero. The superhero. In the vibe of the spirit that can change a town. Superhero.